You grew up in Tel Aviv in Israel, and from this you moved to the United States, and from the United States to Düsseldorf. And we were talking the first time together, this was in Saarbrücken, after you arrived with the train. I've been asking you, what kind of feeling did you have when you left your home?
Yeah, I should say, though, that I didn't grow up in Tel Aviv because I grew up in Netanya. And Israel is so small that 30 kilometers is a big difference.
Okay.
And I grew up 30 kilometers northern of Tel Aviv. And this was me like a huge provincial place. And Tel Aviv was the big city that we always want to get to. And eventually, of course, I got there and started to work there before I even moved to the States. But when I moved to America, I think that I saw Israel in a different light, especially in the first year or two. I saw it much more emotionally, and I just was a kid missing home. And I was very, very much probably kind of idolizing the place, you know, and feeling, basically, you know, every place has good things and bad things. I think that if you're 22 and you're leaving your country for the first time to live somewhere else, then it's a natural thing that happens that you remember only the good stuff about your country, at least for a couple of years. So that's what happened to me in the beginning.
In your music, I always hear something about the Israeli culture, Israeli sounds. I think so. I don't know if it's right. Am I right?
I mean, I think that there were kind of two phases in my career in this regard. I think that in the first phase, I was actually including a lot of real musical motifs and rhythms from my Heimat in my music. And in the second phase of my career, which is now, I don't do that so much consciously. I might have one or two songs in the concert or in the album that are consciously inspired by my country, but it used to be all of the songs. So now it's only a bit. Okay. And the way that my being an Israeli is affecting my music now is different. It is in a more deep way, and I think it mainly has to do with the fact that Hebrew is my mother tongue. So I don't try to put bits of Israeli music in there, but I'm still a Hebrew speaker playing the piano. And this is something that I hear. For example, my favorite French composers, Debussy, Ravel, I hear that they are French-speaking people. A German-speaking, Italian-speaking, English-speaking person would not be able to compose this. I hear the airiness of the French in the music. I'm talking about instrumental music, you know, with no voice or lyrics. And in my music sounds Hebrew to me. And I'm talking about my music that is not sounding like Israeli music. I'm talking about even when I play in my studio to practice Bach and Beethoven, I can still hear something of my language in the way I phrase things, you know?
Especially this year, we were talking in exactly this place, a lot of communication and music. And now you mentioned that the languages that people speak influence the way they compose. So even you do it. Is it a question of communication again?
You know, Hegel says that the highest human activities are meant to kind of expose, to unmask this reality that we are seeing and to show what's behind it. You know, scientifically, we already know that this looks like a table, but if you look at it through another machine, you will see something completely different that is also this table, right? We know that. Particles and vibrations and so on. So he says that the highest activities are trying to expose it. You know, philosophy is trying to do it using ideas, and science is trying to do it using, you know, physics and chemistry and all those things. And religion through, religious ideas and emotions. And art, we do it through the senses. So communicate is right, but I think I would like to add something to it. The music is not only communicating something from me to the public, but it's also, I think that I know or feel something that happens behind this screen, and I try in my music maybe to be able to show that to you. I don't know what that is, I don't know how to talk about it, but some notes, when I play them, they make me feel closer to that. So that's why I want to communicate them, and I think, let's play it for these people. Maybe they will also feel what I'm feeling.
The things or the spirit behind all the things we see, we can talk about. Is there a way that we can put it in words? What is behind all this? Is it religious or is this?
I mean, most people call this God or something that's mysterious. I think that if we had words that were very effective to talk about it, then we would have solved the problem already. The fact is that we don't. The fact is that we don't. The fact is that sometimes you feel something, you don't know why you feel it, and you don't know how to call it, and that's a part of the mystery in our life. And what we can only do is try. Kind of like a baby can try to say something with other means before they have a language. We are also, with music, we just try to play it. Like, I think that John Coltrane's music, and Johann Sebastian Bach's music are two examples of music that is clearly trying to reach God. I don't know if they would call it that they have succeeded. I think that they would probably talk more about an attempt, about reaching somewhere. Yeah. Wayne Shorter is talking about reaching somewhere. It's not that you know where you're reaching, but the feeling that like this flesh and blood is not everything is kind of at the heart of this whole artistic attempt, at least for me.
What is it for you, daydreaming? Is it possible for you? Do you have time to daydream?
Daydreaming is, that's a very good question, because the answer is no, I don't have time to daydream, and yes, I do daydream. There is a great singer-songwriter in Israel who once had a girlfriend. She was also a great singer, and at a certain point they were already serious, and she asked him if maybe he wants to move in with her, maybe they should move together like normal people do. And he just replied, "Are you nuts? How will I be able to write songs?"
Okay.
And I understand what he meant. He didn't mean that in order to really write a song, he needs some silence. Because if you have the right partner in your life, you can get your silence. You can say, hey, like I tell my girlfriend, sorry, I have an idea, and that's it. I can disappear in the other room, and she knows that I'm gone, until I'm done with my idea, or until I find out that it was a bad idea. But you also need something else. You need to sit and stare. Yeah. There is a precious time of nothingness that it's kind of, I feel like the ideas should feel that you are quiet enough for them to come to you. When you are busy, they're not really going to come. Unfortunately, we need the brain to be kind of, and then, like something can come. And so doing nothing is, I think, I don't know how many artists actually admit that, what I'm admitting now, but doing nothing is kind of a part of the activity, is a part of what you need to be doing. Not only for art, I think for any creative process. Because you can't force it, Yeah. Let's say, I'll share something from real life. Yeah, I'm working now towards my next album with the trio. We are recording in August. I have some of the compositions are finished, some of them aren't finished, and some of them are only begun. And this is it's a possibility for hysteria. Yeah. So I know already that you can't rush these things. I cannot think about the ending of a song for 8 hours and then I find the ending. Sometimes I need to go to my studio, My piano is not in my house. That's a great decision that I made. I have to go there. And why? Because when I go there in my studio, there's nothing. There's only this piano. It's boring there unless you're playing the piano. I even have bad reception there, actually. I can't really check my emails in the studio. So if I want coffee, I have to go to a cafe. If I want to take a walk, I have to get out of there. So it's like I go there, and sometimes I just play this song once and think it's still not good enough. Let's think about it. Like in earlier years, I used to now play the song a billion times. But now I know that sometimes I need to go for a walk. And like you could think, what am I doing wasting my time taking a walk? But sometimes after a walk, I'm coming back and play the song again, and now I find the right spot. And then I read that Mozart used to compose taking walks. So then I liked that. So I felt more comfortable about my walks.